Eswick, a beast in the vert ramp. We are inside the Staples Center. You want a preview? Well, let me tell you what's going to happen. Mr. Carey Hart is coming to the X Games to compete for his last time ever. This will be his final competition, he says. The X Games Los Angeles on ESPN 3D is presented by Sony. Here we are, people. Moto X, speed and style. We've seen all kinds of shenanigans when it comes to this sport. It's half racing, half freestyle Moto X. My name is Cameron Steele. Jeremy McGrath, 7-time Supercross champion, joins us here, along with Tess Sewell, who I'm always teamed up with, and then the ever-lovely Aaron Bates will be bringing us the dirt from the floor of the arena here in the Staples Center. And our competitors, as we take a look, the brackets. Tess, take us through a little bit of this competition.
Well, it should be some interesting matchups, especially that first one. Mike Mason versus Jeremy Stenberg, some real heat then. Ronnie Feist versus Matt Byton.
The third heat, we have Torrent Terrace. What's going on?
Yeah, no, we do, and it's absolutely awesome. Torrent Terrace from Spain going to be challenging Hart. And in the last heat will be Nate Adams versus Javier Viejas. And this is a stacked field. Wow.
Oh, a little bit of spin there for Twitch, and Mason gets the charge right out of the gates. So good racing so far. Now remember, they race around this course, but the key part is in the middle. There is a giant jump. It's a super wide takeoff ramp. You see it there. They have to pull the biggest possible tricks they can because it's not all about time. It's also a judged event.
Twitch getting a little bit of a, I'm not sure. I think he wasn't able to pull his trick off right there. So that's going to count against him. He's got to find some speed, catch up to Mason.
So far, Jeremy Stenberg hasn't looked very comfortable. He had that wheel spin on the takeoff and then didn't pull the trick there in the jump. So right now, this is all Mike Mason's race.
4 laps, 3 scored jumps, and Jeremy Twitch Stenberg, of course, coming back to speed styles. We see Mike Mason with a nice torqued out backflip, and Twitch got hurt last year, shattered his heel, compressed the vertebrae. He was out for quite some time. Jeremy, it's hard to come back when you have that kind of injury and come back to the event where you got hurt.
Yeah, and you know, confidence plays in all of this. We've seen him limping around for half a year because of that injury. So for him to get through this event without another injury is super important.
White flag is out. That is actually the last scored jump. They will go off the jump the last time, but it's for glory, so they can whip it or whatever in a traditional racing situation. Mike Mason, definitely one of the favorites coming in. He was our #1 qualifier. So Stenberg not able to battle back. Mason just needs to get through this whoop section.
And Mason's running really smooth. If you notice it, he knows he's not pressed for time or going to be pressured on the tricks. So he just wanted to be safe, and I think that was a smart race for Mason.
Jeremy Stenberg there, who earned the gold medal in the best whip competition just last night. And there is the style score. So overwhelmingly, Mason with the style and the speed, and he will advance on to the semifinals.
Well, we should take a look here. As we said, it all went wrong for Jeremy Stenberg right off the start. Right, Jeremy?
Oh, yeah. You can see right here, he lets the clutch out, does a huge burnout, and it kind of just set the tone for what happened there in that heat.
But this was all Mike Mason. He looked so comfortable. Take a look at this, the gigantic, holy crap. Mike Mason does that just about better than anybody else in the world.
And earlier, Stenberg getting somewhat half the trick, not able to get all of it, just not comfortable in that particular situation. Tough break for Jeremy Stenberg, but I'll tell you, Mike Mason looked incredibly tough.
I know Mike Mason can put a lot more speed in that track than he showed us there.
And Mason done a lot of arena cross racing, so he's used to these small venues. But also last year, remember, had an epic battle, and is a good chance that Mason could walk out with the gold.
Absolutely true. As we take a look at Ronnie Feist and Matt Byton, they're getting ready to go. But earlier today, unfortunately, we had a big wreck here. Robbie Madison, legendary for his stunts and big jumps. Look at this second angle, Jeremy.
It looks like, you guys, his foot comes off, start to lose some footing. Obviously, moves his body up to the front and takes a big endo.
And originally it was diagnosed with possibly a broken leg, but update from X Games Medical, Madison has a collapsed left lung, a right leg injury, which again is not as bad as originally thought. Ronnie Kung Fu fights from Mays Landing, New Jersey, up against Minden, Nevada's Matt Bite, the Metal Militia versus the Nevada Hardcore, Tess.
That's right, and we saw Biden just have that epic battle with Ronnie Renner last night in the step-up. I wonder how much he's hurting tonight,
Oh,
Jeremy.
man. Those guys were going so high. Matt Biden was going off last night, so he might be a little sore.
And let me tell you, Feist is no slouch when it comes to racing, and we all know about his freestyle motocross exploits. And I think Biden had a chance there. He could have dove underneath and taken Feist's line away, but he plays it
Got
clean.
no rhythm. Look at that. He really was struggling there.
Also, with Feist, he loves this event. He's been working so hard for this, so if he does get through this heat, it's what he's been working for.
No-handed backflip for Ronnie Feist, a backflip for Matt Biden. Biden looked like maybe he was thinking about going to the inside there, maybe looking for a block pass. Let's go down to Aaron for an update.
Matt Biden, when he woke up this morning after that epic battle with Ronnie Renner last night in Step Up, said he was pleasantly surprised at how not sore he was. He said he's expecting to be a lot more, but he did some muscle stem this afternoon and also massage on that right shoulder to loosen things up. He said he's still hungry for that gold, and he won't quit fighting until the end.
An upside-down trick for Feist and a right-side-up trick for Biden. Biden's keeping it pretty close here as they triple into that rhythm section. What do you think trick-wise?
He's keeping close in terms of racing, but Feist has done two really good backflip tricks. He needs a good right side up trick here on the white flag, I think, and that hopefully will give him the chance to propel through. But again, Biden really is fighting it.
8 riders, 4 quarterfinals, 1 will advance from each, and there you called it. I'm calling you style, Tess, and you called it that he needed a good right side up trick, and he does. Jeremy, you are the speed version here with 72 Supercross wins. Feist, now that Biden has had a problem, Feist running away with it.
Yeah, Feist, it looks like both these guys are thinking a lot about the style portion of it because they're not carrying a lot of momentum into the corners. And as we see Feist come to the checkered here, he did plenty enough, I'm sure.
And real quick, Tess, can you explain to us the way the scores are put together?
Well, what happens here is obviously you have a speed score, so the first guy over the line sets the speed score, then the differential between him and the next guy, that's the total speed score in points, and then obviously you get scored out of 100 points for your style by our X Games judges. There you see a differential in speed of 9.54 for Feist, easily advances.
And Ronnie Feist, our 2010 and 2011 Speed and Style Bronze Medal winner. And now we're going to go back up to the top and take a look at the start. Feist had it early. The jump actually was to Biden, but Feist controlled it better.
And Biden actually shook his head there as he took off.
Well, it looks like these guys starting on the wood, they need to get the tires warmed up.
And we saw Vicky Golden doing that earlier. When she repeated as the gold medalist, she warmed up her tire before the start.
Taking 2 hole shots, by the way, with that method.
And here, Ronnie Feist, nice no-handed flip, very confident, and the judges will notice that great landing on that one.
I love the way he hooks his feet underneath the pegs to make sure that bike isn't getting away from him. Another look here. Feist with the knack-knack flip. This was the right side up, the 9 o'clock knack from Matt Biden.
But I think it was this last trick here with Biden. Feist puts in the right side up trick, we said, but watch this. Biden didn't look comfortable on that one, came up just a little bit short.
It looks like
Oh yeah, what happened there?
maybe on the pole for the backflip. And Feist does advance 2 more quarterfinals when we return, including Carey Hart, coming back to Staples in just a few moments. Welcome back to the Staples Center. We're getting ready for the Speed and Style competition, but hey, don't forget the X Games mobile app. Download it. Don't be silly, people. We are using it here in the announcer's booth, actually, to get information so we can feed it back to you. Download it to your iPad, your iPhone, Android. You know, come on, don't be afraid. And what about this? A social alert. Chad Ochocinco. He's talking about what's going down at the X Games. You guys hashtag X Games and throw it out there. We were trending #1 worldwide.
It's amazing how many stick and ball guys know the word gnarly. And I'll bet they didn't use it before the X Games came along.
Speaking of gnarly, respect where respect is due. Kerry Hart, the innovator of the backflip. He is riding in his last ever X Games, he says, and he is facing off one of the original freestyle bad boys as well, Edgar Torrent-Terrence.
And remember, Kerry Hart is the first guy to pull a backflip in competition. And he needs to get in front of Edgar. That's what you're saying, right, Jeremy?
I was thinking you need track position. Kerry's going to need track position. AT flies on the track.
Wow, and both of them going for inside lines. I don't think there's any holding back on the track.
Edgar have to stay close.
Edgar, one of the originals of the freestyle motocross movement. Wow, Edgar and Hart blitzing the whoops, and here comes Hart. Oh! And Hart.
That was close.
Edgar going for the backflip, maybe not even realizing how close Kerry Hart was.
Well, the question is that going to affect Kerry's score?
Absolutely.
And he kind of pulled the dead sailor there, but was it safe to go ahead and pull a trick right there with the guy next to him?
Well, I think they were just so close that if Kerry had even gone a little bit sideways, he would have connected.
Yeah, now the next question is, he's got to get close to him again so he can make the move and get in front of it.
Kerry Hart, of course, brought the backflip to prominence, then went for it in 2001 at the X Games. Wasn't able to land it, unfortunately, but he did come back in 2002 and get that backflip, taking a silver medal, which his only medal in X Games history.
I'm impressed.
I'm totally impressed with both riders, and look at this whip. Wow, Edgar.
Kerry was going for the hard attack there, but didn't get it all the way, so Edgar really is running away with this one. Maybe the dark horse for a medal here.
I think Edgar's one of the favorites, actually. Qualified third. And Hart, of course, you go all the way back to 1998. He was the winner of the first ever X Games qualifier. Look at this.
Oh, Edgar going sideways off the whoops.
Oh!
Great speed race for sure. ET covered him on the tricks, it looks like. And Kerry, I am impressed with both of those guys. They were fast.
But ET pushing it right to the end there, too, and almost went down.
The crowd loves it. Kerry Hart saluting the fans. This will be the last time he rides off as a competitor here at the X Games, and I sense a piece of history leaving the building.
Well, this is what you called, Jeremy. You thought really Kerry needed to get in front here.
Most definitely.
He tried to check up and get underneath Edgar, but Edgar wasn't having it.
Yeah, he's an old school racer. He knows what's up. He's blocking the line.
Look at how close they are there, and Edgar actually doing a bit of a whip flip, so moved his bike even closer.
Just so you know, Edgar, of course, 3-time MX Spanish champion in the mini bikes at 80cc, but we all know great mini bike racers become great dirt bike riders.
And watch this, he's going so hard and almost sends it sideways there.
It looked like what
Another
ET
look.
was trying to do is slow down to block the line, makes a little mistake. Kerry, man, if he could have went underneath him right there, would have created some fireworks.
And Kerry Hart is going to be leaving, not advancing through, but there he is. Kerry Hart, legend of freestyle motocross, a social alert.
Oh, look at who it is.
From the wifey at Pink.
Very
Salute all of us. We all salute Kerry Hart for what he has done for the sport of freestyle motocross and
I
action
remember,
sport.
Kerry met Pink through the X Games. I remember their time together in Philadelphia when they first became a couple, and great story for those two. But Kerry will be around motocross for many, many years to come.
Oh, I'd say forever.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the owner of the Hart Huntington Dodge team, they're racing Supercross, and just a formidable team as well. So he'll be around. He just won't be competing here at the X Games. And this matchup is interesting. Nate Adams, who comes in slightly injured but qualifying in the second position.
And he's been working really, really hard on his speed and style at home. He's fast, we know that, and he does have huge tricks.
And gets a very nice start right there.
And he'd like a little redemption here because he was fourth in freestyle, and the rider he's competing against from Chile, Javier Villegas, he was actually third, taking home the first medal for Chile.
Now remember with Adams, he had this problem, the severed axillary nerve in his shoulder. It actually caused him to waste away the deltoids, the shoulder muscles. And can you believe he can do a trick like that with barely any shoulder power?
Wow, great racing, great tricking. Let's check in with Aaron. Oh!
That's right, you guys. Nate Adams' shoulders still sore from freestyle, and he wasn't even sure if he was going to ride tonight's event, but today he walked the track. He said he liked it, and he decided that he was going to give it a go. He's tried to ride as little as possible throughout the day and trying to savor it all for tonight, but he missed that podium in freestyle. He's looking for redemption here.
Javier is down. A tip over in the berm, so Nate Adams with another huge trick, the lazy boy flip. Nate's getting work done, and you know, it was only a couple years ago that Nate really fancied wanting to be a supercross racer and took a shot at it. Unfortunately, injuries really kept him from trying to meet his potential there.
Yeah, he did. He's put some time in, really wanted to race supercross. Actually tried to make the night show. I think he might have made one night show. Supercross and motocross, his passion for sure, but bread and butter, his other passion, freestyle.
And of course, Nate doing work. You guys can tweet us your thoughts, hashtag X Games. Maybe a little at Hart luck for Carey Hart. Give him a salute for signing off here at the X Games. Nate Adams, this is gonna be a heck of a battle tonight. Mason looked great, Torteras looked great, Adams looking great, Feist with some speed. As a checker flag flies for Nate from Glendale, Arizona. They call him the Destroyer.
And he did destroy that one. Unfortunate for Javier Villegas having that problem. But Nate really is going to be in contention in this because he is such a good racer in the supercross world, and because he is, until the injury, probably the #1 freestyle rider in the world.
Very true. Let's take a look at that start. And Javier had a lot of spin. Nate Adams really getting a good jump.
Yeah, he looked like he got a lot of traction right off the wood up there.
And a 360 to start it. There's only two guys at this X Games that are doing 360s, Nate Adams and Blake Williams, Bilko. And this is where it went wrong for Javier. He just looked like he slid a little too much.
Lost the front.
Just wedged the front end, went down. Nate's moving on. He looked good, and we now have our semifinals set to go. Mason versus Ronnie Feist, Edgar versus Nate Adams. It is gonna be a showdown, but right now what we're gonna do, we're gonna check in with the main man of action sports, Sal Masekela. Nate Adams versus Edgar Torrenteras. First, we must report though, earlier today, we did have a crash reported, and we'll try to get you further update on Marcus's condition when we have a chance. Right now though, we're inside Staples Center. You can see the course and the semifinals of speed style. This is pretty dicey. Now,
yeah.
I would, you know, Feist is a cagey veteran. Mike Mason, no spring chicken either. He's raced the Arena Cross Series. Mason really has the edge on the background when it comes to racing. Both are highly decorated freestylers. Mason probably a bit more so.
Well, the question is, Feist.
Wow. Oh, too deep. Woo. And you notice Mason didn't get sucked into that. He still got on the binders and nailed the corner. This is going to be a problem for Feist. Mason has huge tricks. Feist has big tricks, but Mason clearly with the edge in the racing if he doesn't make a misstep.
Well, the thing is, Ronnie warmed up the tires. As you had said, he was being the smart one, but I think he just got a little too aggressive.
And what happened is Feist was on the outside on the start, so going into turn one, he had to drive it deep to try and get the lead.
And if you're wondering how they choose their gate position, it's by how they qualified. Mike Mason was your #1 qualifier.
They're
so
both pushing.
He gets the gate pick as long as he's in the competition. So If he gets this done and finishes in front and out tricks Feist, he will have his gate pick in the main event. Another flip for both riders. Speed guy, Jeremy McGrath. Mike Mason looks pretty comfortable here. This is kind of like a mini arena cross course, and we know Mason has that kind of background.
Yeah, he definitely does. His racing experience is playing a big part right here. Feist is pushing really hard. You can see him going through the whoops. Feist is going for it, but Mason just a little too much distance on him at this point.
Could be the big holy grab for Mason. Feist, I think, will try the ruler. Yep, there they go.
What, do you got a crystal ball over there?
It's amazing just what you can find out when you watch these guys a couple of times. But what I'm seeing here is that Mason has definitely got that edge on the race course, and I think has the more solid tricks. You should see that style score come through pretty quick here.
And Feist, as we said, the last 2 years has been the bronze medalist in this discipline. So he is going to go to that bronze medal match unless the judges saw something we did not see.
Mason is through. That's it. He's going to be in that gold medal round. And Feist, well, he'll get to duke it out for bronze again.
So Mason knows he's getting a medal because he is going to that final for the gold medal match. And we got to look at the start. Speed guy, Jeremy McGrath.
I mean, look at Feist. He's pushing so hard right here.
He's leaning on him.
Yeah, what he should have done is close the door a little bit harder, obviously.
Been a little more ruthless.
I think so. You know, you got one shot and he didn't get it, so it's kind of makes a big difference to have some track position, especially on a guy like Mason.
And there you see Mason. Look at this. He's going there for the underflip. He's trying to roll the shoulders underneath. A little bit more of a whip flip that he did, but his jumps were very consistent, really well landed. I think he was rewarded by the judges for that. There he's consoling Feist.
Consoling Feist just a bit. Day 4 of X Games Los Angeles begins tomorrow on ESPN2 at 3 p.m. Eastern. First at 3 on ESPN2, it's Rallycross and Men's Skateboard Street. You'll see Ryan Sheckler over there. I was talking to him earlier. He really likes the course. Then at 5, switch over to ESPN to see the medal rounds for Rallycross and Men's Skateboard Street. Then at 9, back on ESPN2, the bravest BMX riders reach for gold in the big air competition. The conclusion of X Games tomorrow at 3. ESPN2, ESPN, ESPN3, and also on Watch ESPN. And I'm getting an update right now. Grunholm, thankfully, is awake and undergoing more testing. That is a good update. Oh, and Nate Adams getting the jump.
What a launch.
Okay, now this is going to be tricky. If Nate leaves the door open, Torrent Terrace is going to take it. So he's got to be careful while racing in the lead here.
Oh, yeah, Torrent Terrace is just chasing him down. Look at that.
This is the number 2 and 3 qualifier. The winner goes to the gold medal match, and it looks like Torrent Terrace has the edge in the whoop.
Going to the inside.
Now this becomes dicey.
Oh, what I was going to say there is I didn't think Torrent Terrace was going to get enough speed out of that corner. And there you saw him under-rotate that flip.
He was jerking the bike hard to get it around.
And we saw side-by-side backflips. Torrent Terrace coming out of the inside of the corner in the marbles without a really great run.
And we know that this ramp was actually set specifically a little shorter because it was such a short run out of this corner, and taking that inside line on a, the very slick, the marbles that we saw take out Javier Viejas' front wheel, that was the problem for Torrent Terrace. And unfortunately, these guys tend to set up their run early. They plan out these tricks, and really that was the time for a right side up trick.
And of course, X Games medical staff attending to Edgar Torrent Terrace from Spain. We talked about Torrent Terrace winning the original X Fighters back in 2002, one of the legends in the sport.
And there you see Danny Torres, Jose Morales, the other Spanish guys are going down there. Edgar speaks great English, so I know he can communicate with all of the medical staff down there. But obviously, his Spanish countrymen and friends are down there just checking out on him.
And X Games medical staff continuing to work with Edgar. And unfortunately, it's a part of action sports, the crashing. And as we said, we just got a good update that Marcus Grunholm is awake and alert and undergoing more tests. We'll come back to the Staples Center when we return. Welcome back to the Staples Center. X Games Los Angeles continuing on, and Edgar Torrent-Terrence is still down with X Games medical crew working with him, and he is being responsive with them. So we are hoping and praying for the best for Edgar. Let's take a look real quick. Jeremy McGrath, Tess Sewell, let's take us through what happened. Now, the side-by-side backflip, first of all, is hard because you can't hear your motorcycle very well.
Well, you can see there, he didn't have the speed off the ramp. He's pulling so hard trying to bring it around. Luckily for Edgar, he did bring that thing quite far around, but he also went down a little sideways. So see there out of the corner, no speed, Jeremy.
The marbles there.
Well, I think what he was trying to do was get inside of Nate there. Nate held his line up high, and then Torrent-Terrence had nowhere to go but stay inside. So, Tess, you're right. He didn't have the speed, under-rotated, and fortunately, he got around enough where the bike sort of landed first, went on his hip. It's a terrible, terrible thing, but hopefully he's going to be all right here.
And they're getting him put together for transport on the backboard. And we will update you when we can. But right now, we're going to go back over to the vert ramp in Sal Masekela. And here we are inside the Staples Center Moto X Speed and Style. Tomorrow night, this is going to be Enduro Cross area. If you've never seen it before, you should check it out because it is heavy. It's like the ballet of chaos on dirt bikes. And right now, we're going for a gold medal match. And unfortunately, moments ago, we had a crash. The Spaniard, Edgar Torrent-Terrence, on the inside in the blue gear doing side-by-side backflips. In the semifinal match, he wasn't able to bring it around and took a big crash. The good news is he threw his arm up for the crowd. He never lost consciousness. He is complaining of back and pelvis area pain. He is being transported to a local hospital, and we will get more information when we can. E.T., one of the original gangsters of freestyle motocross, bringing it all here. And check out the Sony 3D viewing experience. Of course, 3D available through Sony here at the X Games. And the viewing areas in the Staples Center, absolutely amazing. And if you like the X Games, you like it coming into your living room, it'll probably scare you right off your couch. And here we go, Tess, set them up. This is our final, our gold medal match. One man with the gold, one man with the silver.
And it was the gold medal match last year in this very same place. But the important thing, Mike Mason has the inside line. Jeremy, what's Nate gonna do?
Well, you can see Nate, he's lining up back on the seat, trying to get maximum traction here. He's looking to get the whole shot, that's for sure.
Tess, who's the better trick rider?
Well, the big tricks are in Adam's court. He really has huge tricks like the 360, but remember, he's got the shoulder injury, so can he pull a big right side up trick?
Who's the better racer, Jeremy?
I think Mason probably has an advantage, and he obviously knows he needs to control the first corner.
Oh, and look at this, he left the door open, but Nate did not make him pay.
Well, again, these guys are being nice. They only have one shot.
I wonder if the strategy here for Nate is, I'm going to be patient on the race course. I'm going to try and take him with big tricks.
I would think that would be the case. 360 for Nate Adams, the second rider. And so that, a trick that no one else in this competition is doing. You saw the backflip heel click. So advantage to Adams for sure.
I think if Adams can keep the differential on the track down to a second, then maybe he stands a chance with the bigger tricks.
Well, I wonder if Mason knows that. Mason knows he's got to hit this track as fast as he can to try and lose Nate.
Oh yeah, he knows. He's running like a scared rabbit right now.
I'm sure he is.
And you know he has the silver medal from last year. He's not happy about that. An X-up flip for Mason. Lazy boy flip for Nate. I think advantage again to Nate.
Definitely in the big tricks, but we know that Mason is going to finish off with that big holy grab, wows the crowd, always impresses the judges, and he looks like he's over 2 seconds ahead on the racetrack.
Yeah, he's gapping him, it looks like. These guys are going through the whoops now, but it seems like he's inching out on Nate a little bit.
Last trick for Mason right now. There it is, gigantic holy grab. It's going over the front a little though.
Oh, and Nate didn't get the trick that he wanted. He did the backflip going for the no-hander, and he had to check it back up. Mike Mason from Carson, Nevada, 30 years of age, staring down the barrel of possibly his first ever gold medal.
Hitting the tunnel section. Got to keep it together.
Look at this, the gap is widening too. Mason threw those whoops well. He's gonna come around for the checkered flag. 1.33 seconds, I think he's gonna get it.
Wow, that's close.
Yeah, gold medal for Mike Mason.
Nate Adams will earn the silver medal. He will tie Travis Pastrana for most medals ever in the Moto X competitions. Of course, there you have it, Mike Mason.
Good job, good race there.
This is Mike Mason's first ever gold medal. He has been competing at the X Games back to 2006. He's earned a freestyle bronze medal as well, but Mason getting it done. Let's take a look at the start, Jeremy.
Yeah, right here, Mason, I mean, you know Nate, he's like, I gotta get the hole shot. Mason controls the corner, blocks up the inside.
This was a critical mistake by Nate. He should have gone out and filled the lane.
Very critical. If he could have got in front of him right there, he was just being a little nice, which Nate always is.
Oh, he's such a nice guy, but look at that huge 360 from Nate Adams there. So there he was taking the advantage, but on the racetrack, it was all Mason.
Mason definitely dominated when it came to racing, and he still had the presence of mind to throw the tricks. Look at the holy grab. Justin Homan invented it with a bungee cord hooked to his handlebars.
And you could see he was going down. The front end of that bike was dropping fast, but he hung on, and he gets the gold as the reward. And that honestly couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. It's great for Mike Mason after all these years to win an X Games gold.
Don't forget Endurocross men's and women tomorrow night here at the Staples Center if you want to come and watch or tune in on ESPN. There is Ronnie Feist, bronze medal, 3 years in a row. Nate Adams reversing the order from last year. He'll take the silver, and the big winner, Mike Mason with the gold. Absolutely amazing. And speaking of amazing, don't forget the vert ramp is coming up. Can Pierre-Luc Gagnon get it done? We will find out.